Hey there, we are back with the next video. So far in this series, we have seen in depth how to manage Git repositories and also how to connect it to a remote and collaborate with your team. So let's take a small tangent away before continuing with the series to discuss about a couple of special files when it comes to dealing with Git and Git remotes. The first one is the gitignore file. The name of this file is .gitignore. Meaning that it is a special file. This file can be used to indicate which files we don't want to which files we don't want Git to track. By track I mean not being a part of commits nor being pushed to a remote. Generally we don't want anything other than the code itself to be available in a repository. It is like a well agreed upon principle. To ignore a file, we can simply specify the relative path of the file in the gitignore. For example, here I have a file called yogi.txt which for some reason, let's say we don't want it to be tracked. I can simply mention yogi.txt in the gitignore file. To ignore all files in a directory, we can specify it as the directory name followed by a /. Notice that once I have saved the gitignore file, VS Code has grayed out the file, meaning that it is now an ignored file. But generally, why is there a need for such a mechanism? There are certain files that we don't want to be a part of the code base. First one is configuration files. These are files that may contain things like database URLs, passwords, encryption keys, which are clearly not part of the code and therefore should not be committed. A good example would be .env file or .config file. And second one are libraries. For example, when we are working with Node.js, we generally include libraries in our project using npm node package manager, which will add all the libraries into a folder called node modules. For example, if I want to use Bootstrap, I will install Bootstrap. It will be available in a folder called node modules. This again is clearly not part of our code base. Any person who is trying to run our code can easily install these libraries themselves. So there is no point of tracking these external libraries inside our code base. So we ignore all libraries and framework, all those files. Third is distributions. Imagine you are working on a web project. You will run the project through a build process which will compile everything, minify everything and put it into a single package which you will then deploy in a server or something else. These files also we won't be tracking in Git, so these files also we will be putting inside gitignore. This is not by any means an exhaustive list, but rather a general idea on what are the things that we have to ignore. Coming to the second part of the video, the readme.md file. The readme file is a file that resides on the root of your project and contains a descriptive summary of what the project is about. When we view the project in a GitHub or any other platform, the contents of the readme file is what will be presented first. We can provide information such as what the project is about, how to run the project, what are the dependencies, and what are the installation steps, etc. Technically, readme is not a part of Git. Git does not treat readme in a special way, but generally it is a good practice to always include a readme file in our repository to guide anyone who views our repository for the first time. Quick tip: the MD in readme stands for markdown. The MD in readme.md stands for markdown, which is something we can use for formatting text using just plain characters. For example, if I have to make a text bold, I can enclose it between double asterisk. Or to create a heading, I can prepend the line with a hash. It is this text-based formatting that has made it a quick and easy to use format for readme files. So these are the two special files in Git. Hang out till the next video where we will be going back to the series discussing things like merging and branching, which are very important concepts. So have a good one and stay tuned.